Okay, Shalom. This is an incredible lesson. Korach, Torah portion 3 of Aliyah 3, the third day of the daily Torah of Korach. But first of all, we're going to start to read from Psalm 119 because this about epitomizes all the beauty and the glory of Torah. So if we can infuse our Torah study with this psalm first, sung from the soul of Melech David, King David. Paul's going to say it in English first, and then I will say it in Hebrew.
We're on Gimel, verse 17. Deal bountifully with thy servant, that I might live and keep thy word.
Gomel alav dechor, echye ve'eshmaro devrecho.
Open thou mine eyes, that I might behold the wondrous things of thy Torah.
Galenai ve'abito niflot mitortecho.
I am a stranger in the earth, hide not thy commandments from me.
Geran echi ve'oretz al taster mimeni mitzvotecho.
My soul breaketh for the longing that it hath unto the judgments, thy judgments at all times.
Garason nafshi letavor el mishpatecho v'chol eit.
Thou hast rebuked the proud that are cursed, which do err from thy commandments.
Ga'arto zeidim arurim ashogim mimitzvotecho.
Remove from me the reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies.
Gal meolai cherpo wavuski edotecho not sarti.
Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate thy statutes.
Gam yashvu sarim bi nedbaru avdechor yasi ach bechukecho.
Thy testimonies also are my delight and my counselors.
Gam edotecho shashuai anshe atzoti. Can I just say that word I have guarded, i.e. your testimonies, edotecho, I have guarded.
Shema.
That word, not sorti, I have guarded, is in the same root as what is called the Christians in Hebrew, the Notzrim. So they are the watchmen or the guarders. So there you go, the testimonies. Which testimony has these people guarded? They've guarded the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. So it's right there in Psalm 119. Okay, so Korach portion for the third day, beginning at Numbers 16, verse 20. Do you want to say it first in English?
And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and unto Aaron, saying,
Vaydeber Yehuah el Moshe ve'el Aaron lemor.
Separate yourself from the congregation, that I may consume them in a moment.
Abadlu mitoch ha'edor azot wa'achele otam keraga.
And they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim, the Elohim of the ruachs of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will thou be wroth with all the congregation?
Vayiflu al pneihem vayomeru al Elohei haruchot lechol basar ha'ish echad yecheto al kol ha'edot tikzof.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying,
Vaydeber Yehuah el Moshe lemor.
Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacles of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram.
Deber el ha'edot lemor he'alu misaviv lemishkan Korach Datan wa Aviram.
And Moshe rose up and went unto Dathan, Abiram, and the elders of Yashrael followed him.
V'yakom Moshe v'yelech et Datan wa Aviram v'yelchu acharau ziknei Yisrael.
And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of their tents, lest ye be consumed in all their sins.
Vaydeber el ha'edot lemor suru na me'al ahale ha'anashim harasha'im ha'ele ve'al tigga'u b'chol Asher lohem pen ti safu bechol hatothom. Do you think we should have a little bit of a chat here? Because
Let's do it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Right. Have you got anything then to say for all that?
Speak unto the verse 24. Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacles of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moshe rose up and went to Dathan, Abiram, the elders of Israel, Yeshua followed, and he spoke unto the congregation, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins.
Yeah.
It's not good to hang around rebellion.
No, it's not. You need to be careful who your neighbours are, because it was all about proximity to Korach, and it's really quite interesting. One of the things that I would have pulled out is this term Edah, congregation, or the assembly, or Edah. What have you got for 26 as the assembly?
Congregation.
You've got congregation. Okay, so Edah, the assembly, or the ones that give testimony, Edah. It's actually quite surprising that based on this, it says that the whole concept of 10 righteous men comes about, because one is connected, and it comes about not through righteousness but through the assembly of the wicked. They determine that what constitutes an assembly. This is taken from Rabbi Rav Kook's commentary, Gold from the Land. And I thought this was incredible, because you expect an assembly to be determined by the gathering of righteous men, but from a Torah perspective, where they learn that idea of community is actually from evil people. One, the 10 spies are called an evil congregation in Eda Ra, an Eda Ra'ah, an evil community, and that's in Numbers 14:26. And also in this instant, which is connected to the 10 spies in a way, this whole the people that have gathered with Korach are also called separate yourselves from the midst of this Eda community. So that's from Numbers 16:20. From here, the sages learned that Elohim is sanctified within an Eda, so is made Kodesh from the gathering of a congregation of people. So how many need to gather in order to constitute what's called an Eda, a congregation? And we learn that from the gathering, the congregation of the spies, which is the number 10, from the 10 spies that went out into Israel, into the spy out the land of Israel, and came back with an evil report. They were called an evil congregation. So you get this whole concept of the holy congregation, men praying together. There are certain prayers that are only prayed when 10 men are gathered, and it's all to do with sanctification. So that's quite interesting, isn't it?
Can I speak to that as well?
Yeah.
Okay. At verse 20, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, he speaks to both of them, yeah? Separate yourself from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. Here's the thing again. And they fell upon their faces and said, Aaron and Moshe, fell upon their faces, the most humblest man in the world, leading all these people, often, well, not often, but in intercession, falls on his face in humility for the whole congregation.
Yeah.
He lays his life down for them. And they fell upon their faces and said, O Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Ruachs of all flesh, Kodesh flesh,
the spirits,
wicked flesh. Yeah? Hallelujah. The Elohim of all Ruachs, the Elohim of the Ruachs of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will thou be wroth with the whole congregation? And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe. He just spoke to Moshe and Aaron, and now he speaks to Moshe. Sometimes it's just a observation that we should see when he separates from speaking to both of them to Moshe himself. You know, I've learned this as I've read through Torah. Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacles of Korach, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moshe rose up and went to Dathan, Abiram, and the elders of Yashrei followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. Hallelujah. So this is not a running away through fear. It's following instruction, you know. It's just wisdom to walk away from rebellious people in our day, yeah?
Yeah, it's incredible because, you know, like you've got tabernacle of Dathan and Abiram. The word is Mishkan, which is exactly the same word used to describe the tabernacle in the wilderness. So there's a connotation there, isn't there? These were places where they had their own form of worship, perhaps. You know, the dwelling place, the Mishkan. It should have been the Holy Shekinah dwelt at the Mishkan. But there's something different about Korah and Dathan and Abiram. But then it goes on to say, uses a different word. It says, "Turn away now from near the tents of the men who are wicked, these ones, and do not touch anything that is theirs, lest you perish because of all their sins."
Verse 27.
Yeah.
And so they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on this every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their children, and Moshe.
Okay. ויעלו מעל משכן קורח דתן ואבירם מסביב ודתן ואבירם יצאו ניצבים פתח אוהליהם אנשיהם ובניהם וטופם.
And Moshe said, Hereby ye shall know that Yahuwah hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind.
ויאמר מוישה בזאת, תדעון כי יהוה שלחני לעשות את כל המעשים האלה כי לא מליבי. You said from his mind.
Yeah.
In here it's from his heart.
Okay.
Maybe, but there is a connection, isn't there, between heart and mind?
If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yahuwah have not sent me.
אם כמות כל האדם ימותון אלה ופקודת כל האדם ייפקד עליהם לא יהוה שלחני.
But if Yahuwah make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain to them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked Yahuwah.
ואם בריאו יברא יהוה ופצתו האדמה את פיהו ובלעה אותם ואת כל אשר להם וירדו חיים של שאולה ודעתם כי נאצו האנשים האלה את יהוה.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them.
ויהי ככלותו לדבר את כל הדברים האלה ותבקע האדמה אשר תחתיהם.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appeared unto Korah, and their goods. Appertains, right?
ותפתח הארץ על פיהו ותבלע אותם ואת בתיהם ואת כל האדום אשר לקורח ואת כל הרכוש. Can I just point something out there that I think is quite interesting? It talks about this mouth of the earth, and this is one of the things mentioned in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, that was created on the eve of Shabbat. Okay, on the 6 days of creation, by the way, on the eve of Shabbat, just before we entered into Shabbat. It's in the Pirkei Avot, it's called Pi Oretz, the mouth of the earth. It's spelt slightly different to how it's spelt in here. And the spelling in Pirkei Avot, the mouth of the earth that ultimately swallows up Korach, is got the same numerical value as Yeshua 386. So it's ultimately a revelation of Yeshua, the truth about Yeshua, that is able to swallow the rebellion and everything that belongs to that rebellion.
Right, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. I'll put it in the description, the actual gematria in the description, the numerical value, and you can see for yourself. Because every letter in Hebrew has a numerical value. Yeshua has got a numerical value of 386, but Pi Ha'oretz, or how it's written in Pirkei Avot, has got exactly the same gematria. So again, it's all indication, all hints in the Torah as to what overcomes the enemies of Moshe the Mashiach for a start off, and all this rebellion.
It's interesting too, 31, and it came to pass as he had made an end of speaking with his mouth, all those words that the ground clave asunder and was under them, and the earth opened her mouth. Moshe spoke with his mouth, and the earth opened its mouth.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It's like the words, we're looking for words to change things.
Yeah.
We want actions from our words. We want our words to be creative and manifest.
Yeah.
As we start to use the word of Yahuwah properly,
yeah,
and exactly with purpose, then creation may respond. Amen.
Yeah, did you know this is incredible, because the word actually, I was just looking, I was about to say something about, it says Wa'im Bari'ah Yivra. So bara is creation, like in the first verse of Genesis, Bereshith bara Elohim. So bara is to create, and here we've got wa'im, but if, bari'ah, so exactly the same Hebrew letters, bet, resh, yod, aleph, but this means a phenomena. So, or it might, is it translated as a new thing? What you've got?
New thing.
A new thing, but it's actually a phenomena, a creation, if you like new creation. So it's actually a repetition of the word to create. It's bet resh yod aleph he, and then Hashem, Yahuwah creates yod bet resh aleph. Again, you've got the bet resh aleph, bara, create. It's like when you're saying he spoke with his mouth, but the word like abracadabra comes from that same. It's Hebrew, isn't it? Abracadabra. I speak and I create. We've got power with our words. We've got to be very careful, and especially the more righteous you are, the more powerful the words that you speak are. And like this new thing, what exactly was it that was created, and why? Was it it was literally Moshe opened his mouth and said what would happen, and it actually happened. So it goes to show how faithful Yahuwah is to the words of the righteous. And it goes back to this whole concept of I speak and and I create.
I think Moshe was at the same point, because he said, if these men die a common death in verse 29,
it's his
all
words
men,
that have created the
or
pit.
if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yahuwah have not sent me. But if Yahuwah make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and Solomon with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that those men were provoked have provoked Yahuwah.
So his words, own words were, he said what would happen, and it happened. So this is again the power of the words of the righteous.
Yeah. That's just, and it came to pass, as he made an end of speaking all those words, that the ground clave asunder that was under him, and the earth opened her mouth.
Yeah.
It was instantaneous.
Yeah. He's faithful to our. This is why we should pray. This is the power of prayer, though, isn't it? We speak words, and Yahuwah's faithful to answer the words of the righteous.
Well, this is the heritage of Ben Elohim, to be honest. It's our heritage. But we really need to know how to be faithful sons with Yahuwah's testimonies, commandments, statutes, all of it. Yeah.
What was the condition that he says it's from my heart, from his circumcised heart? Me libi. So we've got a circumcised heart. We've got a tremendous power through our words, the sacrifice of our lips, to create new things, to be creative, to be co-creators. Quite incredible, really.
I think we were at 33.
33.
They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation.
וירדוהם וכל אשר להם חיים שאולו ותחס עליהם האורץ ויעבדו מתוך alcohol.
And all Yashrael that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also.
וכל ישראל אשר סביבותיהם נעשו לקולם כי אמרו פן תבלענו הארץ.
And there came out a fire from Yahuwah and consumed the 250 men that offered incense.
ואש יצא מאת יהוה ותאכל את 50 ו200 איש מקריבי הקטורת.
Can we just talk about Moshe saying,
yeah,
do not accept their offering from yesterday's portion. Do not accept their offering. And here he never accepted their offering, but he consumed them as well. Hallelujah. It's a fearful thing to fall in the hand of Yahuwah.
Yes.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, 38.
Okay, why the Yahuwah al Moshe lemo?
Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed.
Okay. Amar el Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen v'yorem et hamachtot mi ben asrefor ve'et ha'es rehol o ki kodeshu.
The censers of these sinners against their own soul, let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before Yahuwah, therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Yashrael.
Et machtot achatoim ha'ele benafsotam va'asuotam riku pachim zefu el hamizbech ki ekrivum lifnei Yehuah vayikdashu vayihu la'ot lifnei Yisrael.
We just speak it that?
Yeah, do.
Stephanie has always mentioned they're making something good out of bad. We should make the bad good. And here we see this happening. They take the censers of the sinners, which were hallowed because they were used for an offering unto Yahuwah.
Yeah.
And they covered, what did they cover?
The altar.
The
altar. Mizbeach.
So look at that. Something evil has been made bad. Something bad is made good.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've to try and aspire to. We've to take in the darkness and the concealment and create out of it light and revelation.
It's interesting to see that, and all Israel were round about them, fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also.
They were warned. So now when they see it happening, they'll be thinking, all these words of Moshe are going to coming true. Let's pay attention to all of them.
But what I really want to bring out of this, they were fearful because these men had been rebellious. But something good was made out of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Don't let fear run you. You know, fear is a terrible thing. Fear is mentioned with abomination, adultery, as a big sin. But if we know that something good can be made out of something bad, then don't run away from badness. Be in a place where you know it can be changed for good. Yeah? Confidently know that the bad can be changed from good. We are not the head we should run away. We're not the tail that we should run away. We're the head that we should govern. Be governors, praise Yah, and not fleers.
Yeah.
Verse 39, and Eleazar, the priest, took the brazen...
No, we've done that, Louis. Verse 4.
No, we haven't.
Oh, is that all right? Okay.
And Eleazar, the Cohen, took the brazen censers wherewith they were burnt had offered, and they made a broad plates for a covering of the altar. I had actually read that bit.
I think you were...
No, I haven't.
Okay. Just wait a minute. Where are we? I've got a little bit.
Verse 40.
You haven't got a verse 40, have I?
Where you three Tanakh separates from
16.
Okay, that's where the Tanakh is different than the English Bible.
Okay, so right. Okay, so we just wait a minute. Let me just see what you just read.
I just read the next verse about Eliezer.
So I'm on a different numbering system. So this is where the Hebrew and the English numbering systems are not quite the same.
So you get... That's the one I just spoke on.
Right, so the censers.
Yeah, that's what I just spoke on. Turning good. And Eliezer.
Okay, so now we're on to Eliezer.
Yeah.
5. The priest prays and says, wherein were burnt offers. Reminder for the children of... Okay, so we're at Eliezer. Right, that's where I thought we'd got to. ויקח אלעזר הכהן את מחתות הנחושת אשר הקריבו השרופים וירקעום ציפו למזבח.
To be a memorial unto the children of Yashrael, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to offer incense before Yahuwah, that he be not as Korach and as his company, as Yahuwah said to him by the hand of Moshe.
זיכרון לבני ישראל למען אשר לא יקרב איש זר אשר לא מזרע אהרון הוא להקטיר קטורת לפני יהוה ולא יהיה כקורח וכעדתו כאשר דיבר יהוה ביד מוישה לו.
But on the morrow all the congregation of the children of Yashrael murmured against Moshe and against Aaron, saying, Ye have killed the people of Yahuwah.
וילנו כל עדת בני ישראל ממחרת על מוישה ועל אהרון לאמור אתן המיתם את עם יהוה.
And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moshe and against Aaron, that they looked towards the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the kavod, the glory of Yahuwah, appeared.
ויהי בהי קהל העדר על מוישה ועל אהרון ויפנו על אוהל מועד והנה חסהו הענן וירא כבוד יהוה.
And Moshe and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation.
This is the last verse. ויבוא מוישה ואהרון אל פני אוהל מועד. That's the last verse of this.
Good, yeah.
Okay. Right, so anything else about that?
Isn't it exciting?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Praise, yeah.
There was something, I can't quite remember what it was now. All right, there is a power of incense actually to overcome the angel of death. That I know that is something that I wanted to point out. I don't quite know where to get that from, but there should have really been, because of sin, there should have really been bringing the sort of sin offering, an animal, but they were told to bring incense, I do believe, to offer incense, and it's the offering of the incense that help to overcome the angel of death, because in the future there won't be sin offerings, but there will still be incense offerings. In the future world to come messianic era, there will still be incense offerings, but not sin offerings. So it's according to the according to some commentary, Korach he had a vision of the future, and part of this incense is his understanding of bringing incense as an offering or something like that, instead of something as a sin offering, an animal. He could see very far into the future when the actual priesthood would be replaced, because all the children of Israel would be elevated up to the level of priests, and that's in Rav Kook's commentary. So there is something about this Korach's rebellion that will actually be fulfilled in the future. He had a right to protest against just a couple of leaders to lead the congregation. He had a right to protest, we are all holy. We just didn't get there yet. But in a way, Korach was visionary, and he did see into the future, like he could see that he descended from him would be Shmuel. But part of Korach's rebellion, there's a truth in it, because there won't be a specific priesthood. The entire congregation of Israel. It says here, as Midrash explains, Korach was misled by his prophetic vision. He discerned the essential truth: all of the congregation is holy, and Elohim is in their midst. Yet the time for the vision belonged to the distant future. Korach only saw a private vision of Ruach HaKodesh, not a universal prophecy meant to be publicized and acted upon. Moshe alluded to the future nature of Korach's vision when he dictated the type of test to be used. The dedications of the Kohanim and the tabernacle involved sin offering and burnt offering, so it would have been logical to suggest that Korach's men attempt to offer a similar offering. Moses, however, suggested that they offer incense. He hinted that Korach's vision reflected an underlying truth, but one for the distant future, when sin offerings will no longer be needed to atone for our wrongdoing. And also the future is, and the prophecy only in Israel, it says, while the boundaries created by the selection of Jerusalem and the Jewish people will always exist, the exclusive distinction of Aaron's descendants, this is not just Jewish people, I mean Bnei Yisrael, the exclusive distinction of Aaron's descendants as Kohanim is not permanent. In the future, all of Israel will be elevated to the level of priests. Elohim's declaration to Israel, you will be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation to me, refers to the future era. So there is something about Korach that he was able to see into the future, and that's possibly why Shmuel and Navi came from him. A very great prophet that anointed the kings of Israel. So there is something about Korach's rebellion that speaks to the... Samuel came from Korach. Samuel, sorry. Shmuel and Navi. Samuel the prophet.
Hallelujah.
Oh, very interesting, isn't it?
We know we were speaking about the words of Moshe's mouth causing the mouth of the earth to open. But on the morrow, all the congregation, verse 41, but on the morrow, all the congregation of the children of Israel, Yashrael, murmured against Moshe and Aaron, saying, ye have killed the people of Yahuwah. So Moshe's mouth caused the mouth of the earth to open and swallow these people. Now, was this an action of Yahuwah, or was it the action of Moshe's mouth? Or was it Moshe speaking on the behalf of Yahuwah to cause the mouth to open? It's just a consideration we should think how this occurred.
There is some saying of the sages, the mouth of the righteous speaks and Yahuwah does. Because really it's not the right mouth. The mouth of the righteous don't speak independently. They speak via an inspiration of Ruach HaKodesh, which is...
The great thing is tomorrow we'll
inspiration. Are you still in camera?
Yeah, the great thing is tomorrow we're going to find out Yahuwah's evaluation of the situation by the response.
All right, okay then.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, all right then. Okay then, shalom.